OverDose vapes. Keep your coils tight. Keep your wicks wet. If you're looking for new flavors, all about the clouds, bro. Filling up a clear road, we're dripping on the sub-ohm reviews for the juice while Trevor Josh posts viewed on YouTube and prepare for overdose.
Back to OverDose Vapes. Travis here, taking a look at a little tank for you guys. This one was sent out by Heaven's Gift. I will put a link below so you can check it out for yourself. So yeah, they've sent out quite a few things over the last year, and this is the latest thing they sent out. Excuse me. It's called the Axis RTA. It's a single coil RTA, and it's made by GEMZ, GEMZ. I don't know why I spelled it, because it probably just flashed across the screen right now. It's a very interesting tank, and that's why I wanted to take a look at it. Single coil RTAs are kind of like the new hotness, and this is interesting in the sense that it's not a mouth-to-lung RTA. It's a full-on lung-hitting RTA, but just with a single coil design. Yeah, so I really like it. I'm gonna preface this with saying I have enjoyed this RTA. It looks nice. It comes with two different kinds of tanks. You'll see all that stuff in the up close section. Kind of comes with this bubble tank section that I have right now. Also a straight tank. It's TPD compliant because it has a 2.5 milliliter tank as well as a 4 milliliter tank. So I'm not 100% sure if that's TPD compliant, but somebody can tell me below. Yeah, it's made in China, in China, and made in Shenzhen, like a lot of the products are. But yeah, so single coil RTA. Let's go up close. I'll take it to bits and we'll take a look at it, and then we'll discuss, what I think. Alright guys, here we are up close with the Axis RTA from GEMZ. This was sent out by Heaven Gifts, and yeah, so let's get into the box and see what we get. I've actually opened it, although I did stick everything back in the case so I could unbox it for you. So yeah, so mine's silver. It does come in other colors apparently. It comes with an ultimate drip tip, but we'll see all that in 1 second. Let me go ahead and slide the box off. And it's very well packaged in all reality. I'll plop it out. Comes with a user manual, which tells you quite a bit of information. Oh, look at all the colors, yeah. Comes with like an oil slick variant, gold, silver, and black. They all look pretty nice. This tells you all the stuff you need to know about the different coil installation methods, because there's two different ways of installing coils, which we'll get to in a second. As well as how to fill it, and put it together, obviously. Okay. It comes with a small cleaning cloth that is embroidered with the GEMZ logo. There it is. Okay. Whoop. Flip it around. There's the tank itself. It's a little wet. I just washed it out. So let me zoom in a little bit here. So this comes with two coils, two different kinds of coils, a regular micro coil as well as a clapped-in variant coil. It looks like a piece of flat wire that's clapped-in. A number of various O-rings, some extra pins, some extra springs, a small screwdriver, and yeah, so that's cool. And let me zoom back out. And it comes with a different tank. So this does come with this larger 4 milliliter tank that bubbles out, or the 2 milliliter normal flat side tank, straight side tank, I guess is what you'd call it. Okay, so let me adjust the camera. We'll take the tank to bits, and then I will show you what's up. Okay, so let's take this axis apart, and I will show you the ins and outs. Right here you have the airflow control. Really generous, wide open airflow. One slot on each side. Even though this is a single coil, it does still have two separate airflow slots. Very generous airflow slots. So you take the drip tip comes out. You take this top metallic piece off, and that's going to give you your juice filling ports on either side. Let me get a screwdriver. On either side. You fill juice. Okay, so you're going to take this bottom section off. Now that is going to show you your deck. We'll get to that in a second. This is your chamber here. It's going to slide over your build deck, and you can change the tank. Okay, so here's the build deck for the Axis RTA. As you can see here, we have our wick channels and our juice channels. I mean, this is where you're going to put your wicks right down through here, right down through here. This is where your coil is going to sit right over this big generous airflow hole. The airflow is going to be coming up underneath of the coil, and yeah, so there's two separate ways of installing a coil in this deck. You can loosen this screw here, and this clamp post will come out, and you can trap your lead there, and on the opposite clamp there. Or you can remove this screw, and then trap your leads under in that hole right there, and have the screw come back down and trap the lead. So it's really neat that there's two separate ways. I have yet to see an RTA of this style have two separate ways to install the coils. But what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to show you how to install a coil in the clamp style section here. This is spring loaded, and so yeah, it's fairly easy to install a coil in there. It does come, like I said when I showed you guys the bits that it comes with, one flat ribbon style Clapton and a regular micro coil. So what I'll do is I'll install the flat ribbon Clapton that they give us, and then I'll wick it and show you guys how I have had success wicking it, okay? Alright. Let's go ahead and fire this up. This is at 0.31, 0.32. It's jumping around a little bit. Anywhere between 0.34 and 0.30. But it's firing just fine. You know, if you're going to use this on something like a mechanical device, like a mechanical box mod, something like that, obviously you're probably going to want that resistance to be a little bit lower. But for something like a regulated mod at about 50 to 60 watts, I think that 0.31 is perfectly reasonable, and this coil seems to be pretty nice. Okay, so let me assemble it now. Okay, and we'll fill her up with juice. So all you got to do is literally just take this top piece, screw it onto the base. Alright, as you can see, the wicks are not interfering with it screwing on because we made sure to keep it away from that O-ring. Well, it actually looks really good. Okay, now we can fill using this top fill port. We will just stick our juice bottle in there, give it a squeeze, Go to the other side. Give it a squeeze. Give it a squeeze. We are using this Berry Soft. Oh, Berry Soft. I don't know why I said Berry. It's actually pretty tasty little juice, and I actually got this courtesy of Heaven's Gifts as well. Alright, where is my top section? Hidden underneath a bunch of junk. Okay, so now that we have it wicked, primed, and also filled, we will go ahead and stick our top metal section back on. Put our drip tip in. Go ahead and get one more fire. Seems to be functioning fine still. Alright, let's get out of this up close mode, and I will give you my final opinions. In the up close section, you know, this is a pretty versatile little tank. I'm a big fan of it. Right now, I have it on this regulated mod. I have it at 60 watts at 0.3 coil, wide open airflow. It's got good vapor. It's got really good flavor. I think the amount of flavor that it's providing comes down to the fact that it has a really kind of enclosed build deck, as well as having a pretty enclosed chimney section. Now, downsides of this are that I think that the build quality of the actual tank materials, like the glass of the tank, the top piece here, and the bottom piece airflow section here, I think are a little chintzy. They're not the best quality materials. But the actual chimney section and the build deck section seem to be of a robust materials. Okay, so that being said, the design of it as well I think is extremely well designed. It gives you two different ways to install coils. It has a generous airflow design. You can also close it off to do mouth to lungs if you'd like. I can close it off all the way to barely nothing. I can set it to 30 watts, 30-ish watts with this 0.3 coil, and I can definitely do a mouth to lung hit. If that's your thing, a lot of people like to use these single coil RTAs for those mouth to lung experiences. So you definitely can do that. I prefer it, wide open, and it does give me that option. Wicking is really, really straightforward and totally brainless. You don't have to think about it. You just stuff tons of wick down in there, and it just seems to work. I've had no dry hits. It seems to wick just fine, whether or not you're using like a 0.1 or below coil on a mechanical device, which I've done, or a 0.3 coil or 0.5 coil on a regulated device at between 30 and 60 watts. I've had no problems with any of that. Wicking really seems to keep up fine. So, in all reality, I've been really struggling. I told Panda Vapes that I was gonna give it a 3, because I thought in a lot of ways it's sort of average. Single coil RTAs are a dime a dozen right now. This one is actually made out of what I would call subpar materials. But on the other hand, it's, like I said, very well designed. It produces really good flavor. It gives you those multiple deck options, for installing your coils. So I think that I'm going to give it a 4, but just barely a 4. I think it just makes the grade. And so, I do enjoy this more than I thought I was going to. The fact that it gives you the extra glass section is cool too. There's a lot of things going for it, but the fact that it's built out of less than perfect materials kind of holds it back a little bit. So yeah, just barely a 4. That's where I'm going to be with this device, I think. So yeah, thank you so much to Heaven's Gifts for sending this out. This GEMZ Axis RTA is a winner in my book. Now, whether or not you're going to enjoy it, it's totally up to you. Just because I give it a 4, a lot of times 4s that's like a must-buy. 4 and above is like a must-buy product. I wouldn't say this is a must-buy. I would say this is something to look at if you're interested in a single core RTA. That's just my opinion. I'm sure there are more robust products on the market, but this is the one that I have, and this is the one that I looked at, so I can only give you my opinion. Okay, so like I said, thanks to Heaven's Gifts for sending this out. Thank you guys for watching, please.